And good evening, folks. This is H0 here, doing this at night because about to game real quick and then go to bed. But I had to do this review first because I just got to the end of this. So this is Boondocks season 4, and thankfully I watched this all the episodes, well, most of them, getting to the end because I just finished watching the writer documentary. Writer Ronnie Burns had not Rod, yeah, Rodney Burns had did, and it brought back a little bit relevant points of what's going on today. And even though this season had technically ended like 2014, hopefully it'll come back. So just diving right in, mostly to what Rodney has said. He said, even though this one was lackluster, I think in the content department, it hit more the political stuff that's going on now because he said that this one, well, I took it as it was more of a PC culture type of season dealing with certain things. And the thing is, with comedy and even not being comical, you really got to be true at heart and tell the truth. And a lot of people get offended really, really quickly, myself included. And it's all about how it's like I said, the time and place and the message and the messenger. And I even got into a small discussion today, even over social media, of how pretty much I think the person was arguing with me a little. Well, we weren't arguing, but a debate. She was saying that sometimes it's even better to say something over social media than it is in real life. But I kind of disagree because she had a relevant point about lying. But if you really think about it, people will lie to you regardless if it's social media or not. And then it brought back to another relevant point of how, never really air your dirty laundry or your opinion really doesn't matter. And I was like, yeah, it really doesn't matter on or off social media. And even the guy who was telling me, which was my uncle, even, yeah, his opinion at that moment didn't matter, but I ain't going to get into the deep core of that whole scenario. Um, the animation, of course, was slightly improved. Semi stayed the same. I kind of noticed that Huey's afro semi changed a little bit on this, and I think in one episode it was kind of big versus it being a little bit shorter from like earlier ones where I really saw a good shot of his fro being blown into the wind. Then I noticed it was trimmed down a little bit, and they also put more pop culture references in here. The Kardashians, of course, they always go with Star Wars in every single issue, and since Star Wars is such a big influence, a lot of people are making Star Wars references or episodes and stuff like that. Try to think of another one, another main reference. The only ones I can really think of is because the 5 episodes I saw today, but the Boondocks, along with probably like Family Guy and South Park, are really those shows that pokes much fun, at social issues and politics and all this and that. And I'm not a big, huge South Park fan, but I am as equally as like Family Guy and The Simpsons and Beavis and Butthead and some of those adult cartoon shows I grew up watching. The Boondocks is really the first for black people and some other minorities to even watch because they talk about a little bit of their culture too. It's not that much, but it is what it is. Every country has their or a culture, I should say, has their pros and cons, i.e. issues. But yeah, it is what it is. It's kind of funny how in America it's supposed to be a melting pot, but the race tension, even right now as I record this, is still a big, huge issue. But again, I don't want to bore you with the details. Mainly what's stuck in my head right now is really what Rodney said about just being true, and regardless if it's a messed up, offensive, saying, and I've somewhat have been, politically correct, but me personally, it's about respect. And there are some people who aren't PC, which I am proud of them for, because you can't be 110% true. But there are some who are just straight up dicks that that really do it intentionally to hurt people's feelings or to start some shit. Yeah, so you got to be smart, and I'm saying this to anyone who's watching this, for you to pinpoint that out, because again, I have, before said some messed up things, or even thought some messed up things, even joked about some messed up things. But like I said, this is how I feel about it. If I'm not trying to physically hurt you, yeah, just for being that way or trying to and literally trying to end your life, yeah, you should really try to put on a crusade to really expose and mess up my life 9 times out of 10. And I say this because some people who are either gay or black or feminist or whatever, sometimes they'll try to put you in a position to make you that way, and so they could be triggered to have some kind of sympathy points. And I don't like that at all. Yeah, and it's happened to me before. Well, I'm gonna stop lying. I seen it happen before where a gay person had got mad at this one cat because he was hitting on him and he wasn't having it. He eventually pushed him. I don't know what he said, but then he tried to expose him for being homophobic. And I knew that wasn't a factor, because I knew this dude, and he personally, he didn't hate on gay people. He could have cared less. But it's when you keep pushing someone and then all of a sudden you don't get what you want. Now you want to expose them and make him mad for it, or get some kind of public eye, to attack him. And that's some crap I really don't get. Even black people do it on white people. So, they'll ask him a question, or it'll lead up to some kind of conversation, and then they'll give a response that they don't like, or they'll figure out that they're trying to trigger them. Sometimes they do it on purpose, or it'll be unintentionally, and all of a sudden you try to say this man is a racist, yeah, or a woman's a racist. So, I'm not trying to defend anyone. I'm just stuck in the middle, because there are some of these hicks out here that will openly say this without being questioned or triggered. And I'm just tired of people not thinking logically anymore, and then going off on pure emotion. And again, I've done this before too, but I'm not doing it. I'm not super triggered like everybody. So, it'll be rapid fire. Every other day is something new. And it's bizarre, like very, very bizarre. Like, it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, you sit there, and eventually even the ones who are somewhat trigger happy, or they love to be so-called revolutionary, even they will sit and think something ain't right with this picture. And it seemed like there's something underneath the veil that's getting us more and more divided, so we'll fight each other. But yeah, I know this rendered a whole vanter, because I'm someone's supposed to be talking about the Boondocks, but mostly not just season 4, but that's what the whole show really is. It's poking fun, literally, as us culturally, as being human beings. Even some of the other shows I had even talked about, like Family Guy and South Park. And this is a really us as human beings shooting the middle finger at each other. But I'm just gonna leave you with that, because my neck is hurting. I'm on my bed, and I'm kind of trying to keep my balance and whatnot. And there it goes. It's out. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Peace.